On the streets, it's known as crystal meth, glass, ice, or shabu. The Philippines Drug Enforcement Agency estimates that 200 kilograms of methamphetamine hydrochloride is sold every day across the country. The amphetamine drug rate in the Philippines has escalated and is now one of the highest in the world. International crime syndicates use the Philippines as a base to manufacture the drug, which is then trafficked to the rest of Asia. It's a business that drug traffickers are willing to defend at all costs. Drug dealers are among the world's most common criminals. With no regard for the well-being of their clients, drug dealers sell noxious cocktails of chemicals to anyone who is willing to pay. In the Southeast Asian nation of the Philippines, the buying and selling of methamphetamine hydrochloride, known locally as shabu or crystal meth, has become a major social problem. With a turnover of more than $23 million every day, amphetamines like shabu mean big business for Asia's drug syndicates. For 11 years, selling drugs was the name of the game for Edward. In and out of prison 20 times, Edward was convicted on March 2, 2007 of possession 25 grams of shabu and is now back behind bars.
Nung simula pa lang ako sa pagbebenta ng shabu, nagsimula ako sa maliit na paliman-limandaan lang. May kumuha sa 500, 1,000, 5,000. Pero nung tumagal na, malaki na yung kumukuha sa akin. May kumukuha na ng 1 kilo, ganun.
At $13,000 per kilo, Edward was making more on one deal than the average Philippine employee would make in 1 year.
Dati, 550,000. Marami, iba't ibang tao. Dating asalamaho ako, mga tao na may pag-aaralan, may mga doktor, may mga, masasabi natin, mga professional. Iba't ibang tao, yung mga asalamaho ako, ibig sabihin yung mga tao na bumibili sa akin.
Police have seen the price of shabu fluctuate drastically, with demand for the drugs skyrocketing in recent years.
During when I first assumed that's when it was only 3,000 pesos per gram or 3 million pesos per kilo. But during my watch, it reached as high as 12,000 per gram. And we would like to believe that it happened because we were able to curb the supply, to lessen the supply. It's like the law of supply and demand. You flood the market, you get it cheap. Then if it is in demand and there's limited supply in the market, then it becomes very expensive.
For the suppliers of shabu, profits depend on having a steady supply of the drug and a steady supply of the ingredients needed to create it. Highly toxic, dangerous substances are key components in the production of shabu.
To make shabu requires so many types of chemicals. That's why if you would started to analyze the kinds of chemicals used here and still insist of sniffing it, you wouldn't dare do it. One of the deadliest chemicals is hydrochloric acid. This hydrochloric acid could burn or could just destroy solid steels in a couple of hours. Then here you are sniffing it.
In the recent past, shabu was primarily manufactured in large industrial laboratories, necessary to keep up with the growing demand. But these large drug factories had one weakness: they were easily discovered. Crime syndicates have since downsized their cooking operations, disappearing into civil society and becoming increasingly harder to track down.
And we started to dismantle these mega laboratories which manufactures hundreds of kilos per operation. Eventually, we were able to dismantle large scale, medium scale, small scale until the syndicate started doing the kitchen type laboratories, which use the red phosphorus method, which is odorless and smokeless. So they do it on a small scale in condominiums where it's very difficult to penetrate. So that gives a lot of headache to law enforcement.
One law enforcement unit that goes where no other can is the NBI, the National Bureau of Investigation. When the meth labs go underground, the NBI goes undercover, tracking down the middlemen, the cooks, and the dealers. But for one undercover agent, keeping his cover meant crossing the line.
Sometimes you have this situation that you have to adapt. You cannot control the situation.
During a covert investigation of a group of suppliers, NBI agent Manuel was forced to take a hit of the highly addictive shabu.
In one case, we were in this area, not known to my companion, outside the house, where I was unwillingly forced to use drugs. This drug pusher gave us the shabu in this plastic sachet to my informant. Then the informant told me that we're supposed to use the drugs inside the house. In that situation, it's very dangerous.
Refuse, and he risks blowing his cover. Accept, and not only is he breaking the law, but he could lose the self-control he needs to keep his cover. Not knowing what danger the drug itself may pose, the undercover agent is forced to make on-the-spot decisions that may prove fatal. Manuel decides to take the drug. He manages to convince the dealers he can be trusted, but other undercover agents have not been so lucky. In June of 2009, officers raid a known meth lab.
Normally, since we're used to it, during stakeout, we're optimistic of the job. Sometimes we fail.
As the officers enter, they appear to have the situation under control, but the drug dealers are prepared to fight back. Methamphetamines have flooded the Philippines. Shabu, aka crystal meth or ice, is now the drug of choice for 90% of the Philippines' 1.7 million drug addicts. The design and manufacture of the drug has been on an industrial scale. The Philippines Drug Enforcement Agency, the police, and the National Bureau of Investigation have rolled out operations targeted directly against the manufacturers.
The NBI is doing its part in contributing for a drug-free Philippines. So far, it already busted more than almost 10 clandestine laboratories.
To bring down a meth laboratory, the NBI launches covert investigations to identify the key players involved and to secure warrants for their arrest. It all begins with an informant.
We receive an information, we go to the area and check if the person and the house or the target area actually exists. And then from there, we conduct surveillance, takeouts, we tail the subjects. We interview witnesses or we recruit possible assets or informants that could help us establish the modus operandi.
Police officers go undercover to gather evidence and better understand the structure of a drug trafficking syndicate. When enough information has been gathered, it's time to drop in on the drug dealers.
Before we conduct a raid, it's our standard operating procedure that we conduct briefing. In that case, we were divided into two groups, and I was assigned to assist our team leader. And when we were about to gain entry to the house of the subject, a shot was fired, and that was it.
A raid on a shabu manufacturing clan is one of the most dangerous operations that an NBI officer will face during his career. In many cases, officers expect that guns may be fired.
In narcotics operation, it's dangerous. Normally, here in the Philippines, when we conduct raid, we anticipate that our subject has guns. It's either we shoot them or they shoot us.
Every raid is considered a life and death situation, when letting your guard down, even for a split second, can be a costly mistake.
I did not anticipate that will happen to me because we have an agent who was ahead of us, and I thought they have gained control of the situation. But unfortunately, a shot was fired and I was hit.
NBI NBI officer Raymond was lucky, sustaining a single gunshot wound to his leg. But for the rest of his team, the anti-drug trafficking operations must go on. February 23, 2009, the NBI has been informed by Taiwan's Ministry of Justice Investigation Bureau to expect a guest. A Taiwanese chemist known as Mr. Wu is set to arrive in the Philippines from Taiwan via China Airlines Flight 711. Investigators believe that Mr. Wu has ties to an international drug trafficking syndicate, also known as a clan, and that his arrival in the Philippines marks the start of a new meth lab operation.
Acting on the said information, we were informed that they're set to arrive here in the Philippines to set up a clandestine laboratory somewhere here in Metro Manila.
On arrival, NBI agents follow Mr. Wu. He meets his contact, a man the NBI identify as local Chinese, Li Tuang. Li Tuang is the commercial tenant of a 4-story building on Honorio Lopez Boulevard.
They arrive in the morning of February 23. From the airport, we tailed them to the building that they leased. They proceeded immediately to Manila Grand Opera Hotel.
Mr. Wu and Li Tuang check into the hotel and stay for 3 days. On February 26th, they check out and proceed immediately to the 4-story building.
In our law, we cannot just barge into a house or a building. We need to apply for a search warrant. And fortunately, it was granted. Actually, I applied twice because first, we were not able to make it because we received an information that the group has not produced the meth yet.
After 3 weeks of staking out the suspects and monitoring their activities, the NBI is granted a warrant. Coordination with the Philippines' other drug law enforcement agencies begins.
The big fish and the chemist, these are the two most important things that you have to find, especially if you're in a clan lab. You get the chemist, you cripple the syndicate. Because it's the chemist that's doing the mixture. The cook, you call it the cook, like in a restaurant.
They arrived aboard a Delica van. We were just outside because during that time we were in a 24-hour stakeout. They arrived in the afternoon, and when they opened the gate, they were surprised because we were there, and we informed them that we have a search warrant against the building. They were very cooperative, and it's a 4-story building. The ground floor is a parking area. On the second floor is their room.
After examining the first few floors of the building, investigators discover a manufacturing operation that far exceeds their expectations. The lab was fully operational and was poised to start flooding the streets with meth.
The third floor is the lab. We found precursors, chemicals, and found there were 5.7 kilos powdered form of methamphetamine hydrochloride and 36.2 kilos of liquid form of said dangerous drugs. Street value estimated at 200 million pesos.
The bust proved to be a major step towards keeping the supply of shabu under control.
3 Chinese nationals were arrested during that raid. One of them is a resident of the Philippines. They are now facing charges for violation of Section 8 of Republic Act 1961-65, which is the Comprehensive Dangerous Drugs of 2002.
While one clan is arrested, others still roam the streets selling their dangerous product, a drug synthesized from a mixture of chemicals that consists primarily of poisons. The ingredients that regularly go into a shabu cook include not just hydrochloric acid, but brake oil, drain cleaner, even farm fertilizers, among others. Not surprisingly, the long-term use of shabu can have dangerous effects on the human mind and body. Paranoia, hallucinations, and seizures are common. In this state of mind, the shabu addict may lose his friends, his family, even his grasp on reality. The Philippines has become a manufacturing base in Southeast Asia for the illicit drug methamphetamine hydrochloride, street name shabu. The euphoria and increased energy effects of the drug brings users back for more. But these short-term effects hide the sinister side of shabu, crystal meth, and other related amphetamines. Extremely addictive and psychologically destructive, shabu leaves the long-term user unable to function in normal society.
Methamphetamine hydrochloride, or what we know as the shabu, is primarily a stimulant. It increases your tolerance until you are addicted to it psychologically and physiologically. It will destroy the age system in the brain. The age system is the one that tells you which is right or wrong, so there is no more perception of what is wrong or right.
Long-term users experience debilitating symptoms, including severe paranoia, hallucinations, seizures, and even uncontrolled violent behavior. In extreme cases, a condition known as amphetamine-induced psychosis may take hold. Brandy Ayala once dreamt of a glamorous career in front of the camera. Her ambitions led her down a difficult path, where eventually she became an adult film actress. And it was in this industry that Brandy's life began to unravel after she was introduced to shabu.
Palagay ko naman, makaka-recover na kasi siya. Lahat naman ng tao kilala niya. Ulti nga yung mga naging kaklase pa niya nung high school siya. Pag nakikita niya, kilala niya. Dahil na gusto talagang hindi naman siguro sirain ulo. Kumbaga sa ano, baka epekto lang ka ako ng drugs na ano niya, hindi ba? Kasi lahat ng mga matatanda na nangamatay na dito sa lugar nito, kilala pa rin niya. Nakakakilala pa naman siya eh. Kasi ano yan eh, kumbaga sa ano, may katigasan ng ulo. Kung ano gusto niya, siya niyang ginagawa. Hindi mo napigilan niya. Tsaka una-una nga, di ba, sabi ko nga sa iyo, hindi naman dito nakatira. Hindi naman dito sa amin umuwi. Sa pulong mag-artista yan, hindi na rito umuwi.
Once hooked on the drug, symptoms similar to those of paranoid schizophrenia emerged. Brandy's mood swings and panic attacks soon worsened. Shabu took her from addiction to mental disorder.
When you take shabu, the increase in dopamine is so much that it can produce hallucination. So you do things that is not normally done by a normal individual. You hallucinate. You see things which is not there. You hear sounds. You see people which is not there. But ultimately, it can cause psychosis.
A severe mental disorder, psychosis sufferers like Brandy lose the emotional and intellectual connection with external reality. Today, she remains disturbed and delusional, a completely changed person.
Nakikita ko siya, parang bang awang-awa ako sa nangyari sa buhay niya. Nakikita ko siya. Parang ini-imagine ko yun nung hindi pa siya nagda-drugs.
Drug addicts are supplied by drug dealers or pushers who operate as middlemen between the manufacturers and the users. These street dealers are the last link in the chain of the criminal network. In some cases, the pushers themselves come from poor neighborhoods, looking for easy money to overcome their harsh reality.
Maybe 3 years na, nasa kahirapan ng buhay. At siyang pang mga anak ko, bali wala akong katuwang sa pamilya. Maano lang ako, may score lang ako dyan. Kunwari, meron na akong halagang mga 1.5, tatawid ko sa kanila, meron dyan. Yun, bali paikutin ko lang.
The drug street value is determined by the sum of the supplier's wholesale price, plus the dealer's commission of 10 to 30%.
Kinukuha ko to doon sa supplier ng 1.5. Tapos, tinitingin ko to sa mga scorer. Minsan pumapalo na ng 1.8, maabot ng 2,000. Nakita ko ng 300 kaya 5.
Shabu is a drug with mass appeal, so the users or scorers can be just about anyone.
Dahil may problema na rin ako sa asawa ko noon. Dahil lagi kami nag-aaway, umaalis, iniiwan ako. Then, nagtuloy-tuloy na. Kaya Ang tingin ko sa drugs ay maganda, masaya.
Rehabilitation is a long, painful process. Withdrawal symptoms alone can take their toll. Anxiety and deep depression are common in users who struggle to rid themselves of their dependence on the drug. When addiction finally begins to release its grip, many drug users express deep regret.
Oo, araw-araw ko naiisip ang aking mga mahal sa buhay, lalo-lalo na ang anak ko. Kasi minsan lang nila ako puntahan dito, lalo-lalo ang kapatid ko, mother ko. Naalala ko sila dahil
The drug trade in the Philippines has ruined countless lives, and authorities fear the situation is only going to get worse. The number of Filipinos arrested internationally for drug smuggling has risen from just 2 in 1993 to 691 by May 2011, and increased awareness, it is hoped, will act as a deterrent.
The drug trade is like water. It seeks its own level where it is loose. So it can move from country to country, from region to region.
Independent agencies support the work of law enforcement by taking to the streets, where they teach kids what the repercussions are of long-term substance abuse.
On the streets, it's very rampant and it's very serious because the kids, what they see from the adults, they follow. As you can see in my area in Divisoria, even the parents are into substance use. There are two things that we do, individual and group counseling. The other one is the alternative education. Primarily, our objective is to advocate on child's rights.
The lure of easy money makes many susceptible to the temptations that organized crime syndicates offer and exploit.
Sa isang banda, may maganda namang naidulot ang pagtinda ng droga kasi nabibili ko yung mga gusto ko, nabibili ko yung mga gusto nila, at sigit sa lahat, napupuntahan namin yung mga gusto naming puntahan. Na talagang masabi ko na pwede namin, nakakain namin yung mga gusto namin kainin, nabibili ko yung mga gusto ng mga anak ko.
But the payoff is always temporary, an illusion that inevitably results in hard time for criminals. Ultimately, it's not just the act of selling, buying, or taking the drug that does harm. It is the impact on families and on the lives of innocent people that does the most damage. And this damage may be irreversible.
Nagkawatak-watak, dumating yung time na nakakulong ako rito, nawala yung pamilya ko, nawala yung asawa ko, nawala yung mga anak ko. Hanggang ngayon na hindi ko na sila nakikita. 3 years na mahigit. Lahat, pinagsisihan ko gumamit ng damo, pinagsisihan ko magtinda ng shabu, pinagsisihan ko lahat. Kasi dahil dun sa mga yun, nasira yung buhay ko, nasira yung buhay ng pamilya ko. Kaya lahat pinagsisihan ko.